Hey everyone, welcome. Glad y'all can make it. Um, Let us know in the chat where y'all are from. I would love to know. Um, so welcome to our Cloud Hero event, our prep event for Cloud Hero, and we'll be covering intro to Qwiklabs and SQL. Yeah, super excited that you guys are here and you all are here. I'm Sahel Jaffrey, the DSC lead at Stony Brook University, and I'm majoring in computer science.
And hey, I'm Adi. I'm the DSC lead at the University of Arizona. I am majoring in computer science and data science. And my LinkedIn's on the slide. Feel free to connect. I'm happy to chat with you guys about anything.
Yeah, definitely. Adi's going to be going over some SQL with us later, and we're going to drop him off, and we'll see him in a bit. See ya, Adi. So make sure to join our Discord server, Think Outside the Valley. You'll see a rules channel. Make sure to go check the rules out and read through that, and then check the green mark checkbox to get full access to the Discord channel. In this Discord channel, you can get some help through our wonderful mentors, Andrew and Bobby. They'll be monitoring the Discord, and make sure to direct your questions in the Cloud Hero channel. If you have some complicated problems, you can screen share or go on the voice chat in the Q&A lobbies with Andrew and Bobby. So make sure to check out the Discord, and if anytime you have any trouble, Discord is the place to be. Of course, you can also ask for help in the YouTube chat. So here's the agenda. This is what we're going to do today. First, we're going to go over what Qwiklabs is. Then we're going to talk about all the ways you can get help while doing a lab in Qwiklabs. And then we're going to go do an actual lab and go through Qwiklabs live. Then afterwards, Adi's going to be back, and he's going to teach us some SQL. So let's get started. Okay. So what is Qwiklabs? Qwiklabs is an interactive online platform that lets you learn about cloud products and platforms like Google Cloud Platform. And it's hands-on, meaning you get to use the actual Google Cloud Platform. You know, oftentimes we're just like reading a textbook and then we try to apply the knowledge on something real and it doesn't work out. Well, with Qwiklabs, you get to use Google Cloud Platform so you can learn Google Cloud Platform. So it's pretty awesome. So how can we access Qwiklabs? First things you have to do, very important step, and it will make sense later on in the presentation, is to open up an incognito browser or a private window. And you can do this on Windows by pressing Control-Shift-N, or on Mac, you can use Command-Shift-N. And then once you have your incognito browser up, visit qwiklabs.com. So Qwiklabs has a lot of labs to offer, and you can see all the labs they have by pressing the Catalogs button. There's a bunch of different topics like cloud architecture, big data, APIs, VMs, you name it. It just goes on and on. And this coming weekend for our Cloud Hero event, we'll link you to the specific labs that we'll do, and those labs will be part of the data and machine learning track. And on screen here, you'll see a link. Make sure to check this link out as well. It has a bunch of resources and benefits for students to keep learning. You get 200 extra free credits to Qwiklabs, and a bunch more. And plus those student benefits, you get even more benefits for being a member of your DSC. Like this weekend, there's a lot of opportunities to get access to Qwiklabs for free. Usually these Qwiklabs labs are behind like a paywall, but when you attend a DSC event covering a lab, you get access to the lab for free. And if you attend this weekend's Cloud Hero, you're going to get 30 days of free full access to Qwiklabs for attending the event. So make sure to take advantage of all these opportunities. They're great learning resources, and it's going to help you all out. So yeah, this weekend on our Cloud Hero, once you complete all the labs in the quest, so a quest is a series of labs, you gain a skill badge. And skill badges are a great way to show that you've learned something, that you've mastered a tool on Google Cloud Platform. And you can show this off to employers. I know it's like internship season, everyone's applying. You can put this on your resume, your LinkedIn, and it's gonna show, it just shows off that you know this stuff. And here's a bunch of different skill badges you can get. You'll see this weekend we'll be gaining one badge out of the data machine learning AI. And you get these badges, again, by completing the 3 labs and then plus a challenge lab that's a part of the Cloud Hero. So if you get all of these skill badges, it's going to look super impressive. So besides the skill badges, learning through these labs can prepare you for the Cloud Engineering Certification exam. So this is a certification given by Google to those who complete this Associate Cloud Engineer exam. And as a student, you get 50% off, and it's just a huge, huge way to boost your resume. So if you keep attending these Cloud Heroes and these Qwiklab events, you might want to consider taking this exam. So let's go over some ways you can get help while you're doing a lab. So there's 24/7 support for Qwiklabs. So as you're doing lab and you have trouble, on the bottom right, there's going to be a blue chat button. You could press it anytime, and you got support right there. There's also Google, always there to help. All these tools that are gone over in these Qwiklabs have a lot of documentation. So go to cloud.google.com, and then you'll find documentation to help you out. And of course, since you're all part of this great event, you can check out the Discord, and we'll give you one-on-one help directly. So again, check out the Discord. Hit up Bobby, hit up Andrew during this event if you have trouble. Okay, so let's take a tour of Qwiklabs. And give me a brief moment while I share my screen. Okay, 1 second. Oh, oopsies. Sorry, y'all. Okay. And awesome. Okay. First things to notice. I have a incognito window open. Key point. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure to use incognito. So let's go ahead and go over to qwiklabs.com. And this is Qwiklabs. The first thing you're going to want to do is create an account. So let's go ahead and press join. And there's 2 ways to create an account. You can either do the traditional form way, but I'm just going to sign in with Google since that's pretty easy. So you type in your email, and boom, and type in your password. If at any point, oops, wrong password. If at any point, you get stuck, hit up that Discord. Oh, what? Okay, sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all. All right. Okay. Yeah, two-step there. I kind of accidentally canceled it. All right. Okay. So now that I'm signed in, we can see that the home page looks a little different. You can see I have some in progress quests. So as you complete labs, you'll see the progress you have on quests. And as you scroll down, you can see the most popular labs and some pretty cool topics, creating virtual machines, creating gaming leaderboards, all this really cool stuff. And then here are labs that are organized for you. So if you click on machine learning, it will give you all the machine learning labs. Pretty cool. So first, let's change our player name. So let's go ahead in the top right, you see the profile icon, and then you see the blue My Account. Make sure to press that. And right here is a player name. When you're doing the Cloud Hero this weekend, I recommend changing the player name. It might be like some default, like random name, and put your full name. You can also choose an avatar if you like. And you can change your language if English is not your primary language. So you go here on this drop down and change your language. And then when you're done, you press Update User. Okay, so let's head back home by pressing the Home button. And now let's get into the lab. So make sure to paste the link that was on the slides. You can see it right here, bit.ly/3dwmaths. And it should take you to this lab, a tour of Qwiklabs and Google Cloud. So this lab is just going to go over Google Cloud Platform and Qwiklabs itself. But this is how every lab is going to look like. So you're going to see all the text here, and you're going to see the Start Lab here. Okay, and this middle part is like the meat. It's the beef of the lab. So make sure to read it and go over it. It's going to tell you the instructions. It's going to tell you what you're doing and all that. On the right side here, it's like a table of contents, sort of. And when you click on them, it will take you to the corresponding part. So let's head back to the top. Very important to read through. So let's go through the overview. So it says that Google Cloud is a suite of cloud services hosted on Google's infrastructure. And that this is an intro lab, and it's going to teach us about Google Cloud. Yeah, I know reading, I like to skip reading, but it's very important to read through everything. But we'll go to the what you will learn part. Okay, so here's what we're going to learn. We're going to learn about Qwiklabs, and we're going to learn about Google Cloud Console, Google Cloud Projects, Cloud Shell, and everything you're going to need to know for the Cloud Hero event this weekend. And there aren't any prerequisites for this lab, so we can keep going. And it's going to tell us when to start the lab. The lab will tell you everything you need to do. All right. So it's explaining the Qwiklabs interface right now. So let's talk about it. The Start Lab. It's a button right here. It's a green button. And when you click this button, you're going to get a set of credentials and a temporary Google Cloud environment, right? So Google Cloud Platform is a paid service. So when you use Qwiklabs, they give you access to Google Cloud Platform for free. And in order for you to get it for free, you need to use the account they give you. And when you press Start Lab, they're going to give you an account, and this timer will start to go down. So credit, each lab is 1 credit, and a credit is equivalent to $1. But the thing is, when you're with us, when you're with DSC, the DSC community, it's going to be free. All right, so make sure that you're not paying anything. If it asks for your credit card, that's a red flag, and you should ask for help in the Discord. Okay. So time, there's a timer here. It tells you how much time is left in the lab. Once the time's up, you lose access to the cloud environment and all the resources you were using. So just keep an eye on it, but usually you have enough time to complete the lab. And then you have a score, which is going to come into play this weekend at Cloud Hero, which tracks how well you're doing in the lab. Okay, paying for a lab, again, you should not have to worry about that. If something like that pops up, make sure to ask for help. Okay, so we understand the components of the lab. Let's take a moment to press Start Lab. So we're going to hit Start Lab, and it's going to ask us to verify that we're not a robot. And let's check the chimneys. Nice. Okay, so now what we have here is this left side panel, and there's a few things to note here. There's an open Google console, username, password, project ID. And the lab is going to walk us through what they all mean and what to do. So here we go. It's asking us a question. Okay, this builds a temporary environment in Google Cloud. And the choices are Start Lab, Time, Credit, Score. Anyone in the chat know the answer? Let's see. Well, the answer should be Start Lab. That's pretty straightforward. So hit Submit, and boom, you get a green check mark. When the timer reaches 0, you will lose access to your temporary Google Cloud environment, true or false. That is true. Some labs have tracking, which scores your completion of hands-on lab activities. True or false? What are we thinking? What are we thinking, y'all? The answer is true. All right. So in order to receive completion credit for a lab that has tracking, you must complete the required hands-on lab activities. True or false? What y'all got? True or false? I believe it is true. So let's go ahead, and we got all of them right. So a lot of labs will have questions like this. It's okay if you get them wrong. You actually have an unlimited amount of tries to answer the questions. So if you get it wrong, don't worry. Okay, so now it's talking about the left pane. So it contains a Google Console button and the username, password, and project ID. So the Google Console button is going to open up the Google Cloud Platform. Okay. Sorry about that. And then the project ID is going to tell you which project we're working on in the Google Cloud Platform. Project ID is supposed to be unique to every project, and it's used in Google Cloud to tell what project has what resources. So it's very important that when we're working in the labs in Google Cloud Platform, that the project ID that you see here matches the project ID we see there. And we'll see this when we start getting into the platform. And we have username and password. So we're going to be given a username and password to sign into the Google Cloud. Make sure not to use your own. Okay, so let's sign into the Google Cloud Platform. So go ahead and press Open Google Console. Can you see my tab? I don't think so. Okay, so let's see something here. 1 second. While I share my screen again. Okay. Did that work? All right. Sorry about that. Okay. I think that should be good. Okay. So this is the sign-in screen. It's saying to use your Google account. Don't use your Google account. Go back to the Qwiklabs. Copy the username right here. This is going to be your temporary account, okay? For each lab, you're given this username and password, and it's always different. So copy it and paste it. Press next, and it's going to say enter your password. Enter the password that Qwiklabs gives you. So go ahead and go back, press copy, and paste it in. This is really key step right here. If you're using the wrong account, then Qwiklabs can't track your progress. And if you're using your own account, you might even get like a fee, and that's not good. So make sure to use the username password that Qwiklabs gives you. Go ahead, press next. And then accept the terms of your temporary account. Confirm that. Don't update the phone number, just confirm it. And then it should load in. Okay. And now select the country that you're currently in and agree to the terms and services, and you have access to Google Cloud Platform. This is it right here. This is what many developers get to use, and you can do basically anything on this. But with the labs, you got to follow the instructions. Okay. So let's go. So we did this in the lab. We did that. Okay. So let's test our understanding. Which field is not in the left pane? Project ID, system admin, open Google Console, or password? What do y'all think? All right. System admin. Yep. Submit. The username in the left panel, which resembles Google XXS student, is a Cloud IAM identity. Ooh, this is a tough one. This is true. Yeah, it says it right here. Yeah, right here. So that is true. Let's submit it, and boom. Okay, now that we've signed in, let's learn about projects. So a project is an organizing entity for Google Cloud resources. It contains resources and services. Every project has a name, ID, and a number. And you can see the project info on the home screen in the central pane. As you can see in this image, we can actually go back to our cloud platform, and you see it's right. But the image you see right there is right here, project info, and you see the project name, project ID, project number. And now I just remembered something very important. Head back to Qwiklabs. This project ID right here, this ID needs to match the ID that you see right here. If it doesn't match, you're gonna have some trouble with Qwiklabs. Okay, most of the time they will match, but occasionally there's like a hiccup and your IDs won't match, and then you'll complete something in the lab, and then you're like, "Hey, Qwiklabs, I did that," and Qwiklabs says, "No, no, you didn't." That's because the IDs don't match. So when that happens, you just close the tab and then reopen the Google Console right here. Okay. Task 2 says view all projects. Okay. So when you're using Google Cloud Platform, potentially you could have multiple projects at once. With the labs, this is not that common, but some labs do require it. So let's go ahead and follow what the GIF and the instructions say to do, and let's see all the projects. So up here in this top bar, you're going to see the project ID again with the drop-down arrow. When you press that, it lists all your projects. If we press all, we see even more projects. So the bottom project that you should see is the project we're working on in Qwiklabs and has our ID. The rest are projects just given to us. And you can see one that says Qwiklabs resources. This is a read-only project. So that means you can access it, but you can't modify the project. You can't change it. because this belongs to Qwiklabs, and Qwiklabs gives it to us so we can use some really cool databases and data sets and resources. So let's go back to the lab and see what the instructions say to do next. And everything I'm saying right now is all written on the labs, so you can read it if you get lost, or if you're doing this lab on your own some other time, these instructions are all there. And so it also says the cloud project that we are working on with Qwiklabs is temporary. So when the lab is done, you lose access to the project, and all the resources will be gone. So let's test our understanding once again. An organizing entity for anything you build with Google Cloud. Cloud storage bucket, username, password, Google Cloud project. What does everyone think is the right answer? Google Cloud project is correct. Qwiklabs resources is shared read-only with all Qwiklabs users, so which means you cannot delete or modify it. True or false? Ooh. Qwiklabs resources is read-only? That is true. Qwiklabs resources is the project where you run all your lab steps. Oh, this is a tough one. True or false? It's false. The project that you'll be running your lab steps is the project that matches the project ID, not Qwiklabs resource. Remember, that's read-only. All right, on to the next part. Navigation menu and services. If at any point y'all get lost, make sure to ask for help in the YouTube chat or check out the Discord and ask Andrew and Bobby for some help. They'll love to help you out. So navigation menu and services. So in Google Cloud Platform, there's a navigation menu with the 3-line symbol. I believe it's called the hamburger icon, the name for the 3 lines. Little random fact. So let's go ahead and do what they're doing. You can hit cancel here. And we actually have it up already. So let's close it and let's open it up again. And yeah, you can see all the tools you have at on Google Cloud Platform. And there's so many, and they're all organized into specific areas like compute, storage, databases, AI. And back on the lab, it explains what each does. So compute is like machine types that can do anything. Basically, you're in charge of a virtual machine, and you decide what you want that virtual machine to do. So like, you can have anything running on a compute engine. Storage, talking about data storage, databases, structured, unstructured, relational databases, which you're going to hear about later in the SQL portion. Networking, services that balance traffic, all that. And then big data, artificial intelligence, and they even link you to documentation that goes into even more detail on all those. And now we have roles and permissions. So in the navigation menu, we have to click the I am an admin, and this is gonna open up a list of users and say what roles they have and permissions. And then we're gonna find our own username. It will say like Qwiklabs or something. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have our navigation menu. Let's open it up. And I am an admin is what they said to press. So go ahead and press that. And it's loading, and we're here. So there's 3 users, but we see we are this user. This matches the username that was given to us. And we have 2 roles. We have the editor role and the viewer role. And what do those roles mean? Well, the lab tells us what those roles mean. So a viewer can read the project. They can see everything, but they can't modify it. They can't change anything, tweak anything. That's where the editor comes in. The editor can view it just like the viewer, but the editor can also modify resources and whatnot. The owner can do everything the editor can do, plus managing roles of other users and adding people in and out and all that stuff. So let's test our understanding on this topic. Offers quick access to the platform's services and also outlines its offerings. Compute, cloud operations, networking, or navigation menu. Oof, that's a tough one. What does everyone think? Is it compute, networking? Let's go with navigation menu. Yeah, that makes sense. Submit. Cool. Primitive roles set project level permissions and unless otherwise specified, control access and management to all Google Cloud services, true or false. This one should be true because the three roles we talked about are the primitive roles and they can control access and management. Yep. Provides all viewer permissions plus permissions for actions that modify state, such as changing existing resources. Okay, so a permission that can modify state, is it viewer, owner, or editor? And Google Cloud Project is not a role, so we can just cross that answer out. They can modify state, so that's the editor role. Okay, the owner can also edit and modify the state, but the owner has even more rules, more permissions. So that's why it's editor. Okay, API and services. So when you're using Google Cloud Platform, you have access to like over 200 APIs that you can just easily integrate into your app. And APIs stand for Application Programming Interfaces. And you can either call them directly or through one of the cloud client libraries that you're given. When Qwiklabs gives you a Google Cloud project, it gives you most of the APIs automatically. So you don't have to worry about provisioning those APIs and adding them in yourself. Qwiklabs will do it for you. But if you were ever working with Google Cloud Platform on your own, you're going to have to manually add those APIs. So the next task here is Qwiklabs is saying to open the navigation menu and click API and services and then press library. And then we're going to search for the API dialog flow. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's head back over to Google Cloud Platform, open up the navigation menu, and we need to look for APIs and services. Okay, APIs and services right here. And we're going to go to library. Okay. And the next step was to search up Dialogflow. But while we're here at the API library, just look at all this cool stuff that you get to use with Google Cloud Platform. You can maps, that's pretty dope. All right, so let's search up Dialogflow. Okay, so let's see what we have to do next. Let's head over back to the lab. So click Dialogflow API, and then what we're gonna do is enable it. Okay, so we're gonna click the Dialogflow API, and Dialog API allows you to build conversational applications, things like Alexa and things like I was scared that my Alexa went off. Google Assistant, things like that. And once we click on it, we're gonna press enable. Then we're gonna click the back button in the browser, and then we're gonna see this green check mark that API is enabled. So let's go ahead and do that back in the Google Cloud Platform. So let's press it. So they said to press enable. Okay. And it's enabling. Okay. Very nice. And now we have to go back. So press the back button on the browser. Okay, API enabled. Nice. So let's go back. And what we saw matches what the lab shown. And now it says, click try this API. A new browser tab opens. Explore this information. Close the tab when you're done. So let's press it. Try this API. Very cool. And this is awesome. So Dialogflow API, sorry about that, builds conversational interfaces. For example, chatbots and voice-powered apps. That's pretty epic. You could build your own chatbot or your own device that responds to your voice. That's pretty cool. So the instruction said to close this tab. So let's go ahead and close it. And what else does this say? Return to the main page of the Cloud Console and click by clicking Home on the navigation menu. So let's go ahead and do that. Navigation menu, press Home. Bada bing, bada boom. We're back. And let's test our understanding. When you start a lab in Qwiklabs, you need to enable APIs in your project to start with working in Qwiklab. That's false. Qwiklabs does it automatically. All right, Cloud Shell. So now that we understand the key features of Google Cloud, let's go on to get some hands-on practice with Cloud Shell, which is an in-browser command prompt that allows you to basically run a terminal on the cloud. Okay, so let's go ahead and work in Cloud Shell. So it's explaining to us how to activate the Cloud Shell. So we're going to press the Activate Cloud Shell button and then press Continue. And then we should get a message that looks like this. So let's go ahead and head back to Google Cloud Platform. Activate Cloud Shell is right here at the top, between the question mark help and the search bar. You're going to see an Activate Cloud Shell button. Go ahead and press it. And then right here, it says to continue. Go ahead and press continue. And boom, wait for that to provision. We'll take, it should be done right now. Okay, awesome. And now, let's see. Okay, it looks about right. And now we're gonna run this command, gcloud offlist. So in your Qwiklabs and the labs, you're gonna see commands written out like this. There's always an option to copy here in the top and the right side of the box. And so you can always copy it. And you could, of course, type it out yourself, but to avoid mistakes, copying is pretty helpful. So we'll go back into here and paste it in. And it's asking us to authorize. Make sure to authorize. And cool. That's awesome. That looks exactly like what they said it should look like. So we're doing great. If you're having trouble, make sure, again, check out the Discord. Andrew and Bobby will help you out in the Cloud Hero channel. So what we're using here is the gcloud toolkit, which is a command line interface that's given to us by Google Cloud. And what this offlist command did was it listed all the credentialed accounts that we have in our Google Cloud project. So in addition to this toolkit, there's a whole bunch of other command line interfaces that Google Cloud gives you. Here, they also give us a text editor called Nano. And the Cloud Shell comes with a lot of Unix-based command line commands and the Unix-based command line interface. So we can do things like touch, ls, make directory. So those are all Unix commands, and we can run them on the Cloud Shell. So let's create a test.txt file by copying the command here. So it's touch test.txt, and this will create a text file called test. So let's paste it into our terminal, and nothing really happens because there's no return. And so now we can run the Unix command ls to list the files in the directory. So let's copy the ls, paste it, and now you see our test.txt is right there. So yeah, pretty cool. And we have the same output as the Qwiklab, so we're doing pretty great. And now we're going to use Nano to edit the file. So copy nano test.txt, and what it's going to do is it's going to open an empty file on the Nano text editor. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is the text editor, which is like Notepad, but on your terminal. It's a bit more complicated, but Qwiklabs is here to walk us through it. So type in a message, and it's stressing heavily. Do not press enter. So let's type in a message, and we won't press enter, and we'll come back to the lab to see what we have to do next. So I'm going to type in I love cheeseburgers because I love cheeseburgers. All right, and let's go back. Do not press enter, and it's telling us how we can save the file. Control X. Okay, first we have to press Control X, then press Y, and then press enter. All right, so let's do that. So Control X, and now it's saying save modified buffer. Press Y, and now press enter. Boom. Awesome. And it's saying another helpful command is cat, which will output the contents of a file. So let's go ahead and copy this. It says cat test.text, and let's see what happens. Boom! I love cheeseburgers. Me too. So our Cloud Shell also loves cheeseburgers, just like me. We have a lot in common. So let's scroll down, and we have finished the lab. So when you finish every lab, make sure to press End Lab, or else you won't get the badge if you're looking for the badge. And also to avoid any confusion, because if you move on to a next lab while you have this lab running, it's going to be a little chaotic. So click End Lab. If you get a pop-up, click OK. And then you can give your feedback if you liked the lab, if you didn't like the lab, if you enjoyed it, if there was any issues, just be thoughtful, and then boom. And that's it. Once you ended the lab, Qwiklabs is going to remove that Google Cloud Platform account and all the resources. And that's it. You can also close that tab. I would recommend closing that tab to avoid confusion with other labs. All right, awesome. Let's head back over to the slides. Do 1 second, please, as I, okay. And now let's head back to the slides. One moment as I share the slides back onto the screen. Sorry, y'all. So how was that Qwiklabs? Everyone get through it okay? Any trouble? I hope it went smoothly. I hope it made sense. Okay, so I see there's a question. My gcloud offlist command did not work. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. So when that happens, close the tab of the Google Cloud Platform, and then on your Qwiklabs, press Open Google Console again, and then re-sign in. That should solve your problem. It's an issue with a Qwiklabs sometimes. Okay, let's full screen this. Okay. And I hope that answered your question. Just follow up with us if it didn't, and we'll try to get you some help. Okay, so as you're doing the labs, just a reminder for a quick pro tip, to make sure the IDs match with the Qwiklabs environment. And also, so there's some key points in the Google Cloud Platform that we kind of went over briefly. At the top, you have the project ID, you have the navigation menu on the top left, and you have the Cloud Shell. Very important. Those are like the key parts of Google Cloud Platform that lets you jump to other parts of Google Cloud Platform. Awesome. So I hope you all enjoyed Qwiklabs, but now we have a great introduction to SQL, from Adi. So everyone, welcome Adi back to the stage.
Hey Sahil,
Hey,
how are you doing? Great presentation, by the way. I really liked it.
thank you, thank you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about SQL, and I can't wait to learn.
For sure, I'm super excited to teach everybody some SQL. And oh, by the way, are you going to be learning SQL with us today, or have you had experience with it before?
Yeah, I'm going to be learning, and I have a test tomorrow, so this is going to be some review for me, some midterm help. So I can't wait.
Great. No pressure on me whatsoever. Okay, everybody. Let's take a moment, guys, in the chat to thank Sahil for his amazing presentation. And let's jump into this introduction to SQL. Thanks again, Sahil. Uh, Before we jump into any code, of course, I do want to remind you guys that we have a Discord server, Think Outside the Valley. You guys can post your questions there or in the YouTube chat. We have some awesome moderators. We have Andrew and Bobby there. They're going to help you out. They can share their screen and give you guys some technical help if you need. And with that, let's actually jump into some SQL. So what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it is a language specifically built to create, modify, and query databases, specifically relational databases. So we're going to talk about relational databases first, because that's key to SQL, and then we'll talk about the language itself. And you might hear me say SQL, but you heard Sahil maybe say SQL. Neat little tidbit is that both of them are correct. And the history behind why that is actually quite interesting and something you might want to even look up in your spare time. Okay, so let's talk about what a relational database is. As the name implies, a relational database is just a collection of data such that the items in that database have some sort of relationship with each other. Let's look at the slide here. And specifically, I want to look at the Star Wars table. You might notice that on one particular row, we have one Jedi and the lightsaber that is associated with them. So when I talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, the lightsaber associated with him is in the same row as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it is the green lightsaber. Similarly, in the other table, the Disney shows table to be specific, each movie title is associated with a rating and a year of release. And we can find which year a particular title was released just by looking along the same row. So what we're saying is everything in that row is related. Now we know that these tables or what these tables and or relational databases represent. Let's talk about what a database is. A database is basically a collection of these tables or relational databases. And so in the picture, you'll see that both the Star Wars and the Disney shows table are part of our Disney database. So to recap quickly, at a high level, tables are collections of labeled data where the labels are the column names like Jedi, saber color, or title and year. And a database is just your collection of those tables. Now that we know what our data looks like, let's talk about some SQL and how we can actually use SQL to work with that data. Let's look at the Star Wars table again. And the first command we're going to talk about right now is the select command, which, as the name implies, selects data from a database. I do want to point out as we go along this SQL tutorial that SQL is intuitively very close to the natural language. So you'll see a lot of times I'll draw parallels to how that is how I would say it in English, and that's how I would write it in SQL. So in this example that you see on the screen, suppose I want to look at the Jedi column of this table. All I would have to say is, or the query that I would write is, select Jedi from Star Wars. That is to say, select space the column name. In this case, that's Jedi from the Star Wars table. But of course, it's not super useful to just look at one column from your table, because I mean, I can only do so much knowing the name of every single Jedi. And what I might want to know instead is, hey, who is this? What is this Jedi's lightsaber, right? And so select actually allows you to get more than one column at a time. And the format for that is select column 1, comma column 2, comma column 3, and so on and so forth. On the first example on this slide, you see that I want to select both the Jedi column as well as the saber color column from that Star Wars dataset table. And so all I do is select Jedi, which is the first column, comma, saber color from Star Wars. And that's going to give me the output that you see at the bottom of the screen. Now you might notice that in this data set, or in this table, I'm sorry, we only have 2 columns. And so we actually have a different way of getting the same results in case we did just want all the columns from our table. And that is by using the asterisk or star character. Those of you familiar with Unix might know what the star character is, or might be familiar with it. It basically pattern matches and says, hey, grab everything. And so if I say select star or asterisk from Star Wars, it's just going to go and select all my columns from the table. And so whether I say select star from Star Wars, or if I say select Jedi, comma, saber color, in this case, the output is going to be the same. All right. Now we know how to select data from our database or from our table. But some of you might have noticed that in our previous examples, there was another keyword that we used, which is the from keyword. And that is because from is used in conjunction with basically most of your other commands, because it doesn't make a lot of sense, obviously, to say that, hey, I want to select data without telling SQL what data you're talking about specifically, right? And so let's look at that same example. We'll say select Jedi, same thing we did earlier, just selecting the Jedi column, and we're saying from Star Wars. So then SQL knows that we are talking about getting the data from the Star Wars table. And because you might remember, in our Disney database, we also have a Disney shows table, not just the Star Wars table. So SQL actually needs to be told that, hey, I want this column from this table specifically. Right. Now that we know what that sort of does, let's have a little bit of a quiz to test our understanding. It's the same data set that you guys saw earlier. And for this data set, can you guys write a query to select the title column from the Disney shows table? And I'll give you guys a few seconds to write out your responses in the comment section. And let's see what you guys can come up with. And think back to how we used select, think back to how we used from, put those together. And if you guys are ready, if the answer you gave is select title from Disney shows, you would be absolutely correct. Select title from Disney shows does exactly what it says, selects the title column from Disney shows. Here, I just want to stop again to quickly point out how similar SQL is to the English language. If, in my head, I had to say, hey, I want this column from this table, the way I'd say it probably is select, title from Disney shows. And in SQL, it's basically exactly that. Just remember to, end your sentence with a semicolon. Before we jump on to the next command, remember, if you guys need any help or are having any kind of issues, we do have the Discord server, we do have the YouTube chat. Feel free to put your questions there. We have awesome moderators to help you out live with any issues that you might have. And with that, let's talk about the next command on this list, which is the where command or keyword. The where command or keyword is another SQL command that specifies what row you want to retrieve from the table. So, I mean, it's all well and good to, select the title and select the year. But what you might really want to do is say, hey, I want the movies that were released in the year 2000. Or maybe I want all the movies that are rated G. And so, like you use the from command to select tables, you use the where command to say, hey, this is the row that I want. Let's look at an example. And we're going to talk about the Disney shows table that's on the screen right now. Let's say that from this table, I wanted to select all the movies that were rated G. I would say select ID, title, rated, because those just happen to be the columns that I want from Disney shows. That's just like we spoke about earlier, where we select the columns we want from the table that we want. And now all I need to say is where rated equal to G. So rated is a column, and I'm saying that, hey, filter my results by all the places where the value of the rated column is equal to G. And remember to put that in quotes, in single quotes to be specific. And if you look at the output, you only have the movies or the movie titles which have a rating of G. Now, maybe that's not enough. Maybe you need to actually print your output in some sort of order. You'll notice that when we use the query that we just spoke about, where we say select these three columns from this table, where rated equal to G, what the SQL gives as output is basically the three titles in the same order in which they occur on the actual same order in which they occur on the table. They're not ordered in ascending or descending order. To do that, we use the order by keyword. Order by, exactly like it sounds, will order your results. And let's see how to use that. So let's say we have the same query, select these three columns from Disney shows, where rated equal to G. And all we say is, at the end of it, we say order by ID. What that's going to do is it's going to go through your results and sort it by the value in the ID column. Now you can see the output, the ID with that is 100,000 comes before 200,000, which comes before 300,000. And so now your results are sorted in ascending order. Sometimes you might not want ascending order. Maybe you need your results in descending order. And so all you'd need to do is use the same query, and at the end, again, add DESC. What that's doing is the same thing. You're getting all the movies which are rated G, you're ordering it by ID, and DESC, it's a short form for descending, is basically saying, okay, give me my results in descending order of ID. And now you see that the 300,000 value occurs first, then you have the 200,000, and then you have the 100,000. Those are some super basic SQL commands. They'll help you, get out and about, get familiar with SQL, learn to read it. And it is actually the last SQL slide that we have for today. And with that, I'd like to welcome Sahil back on stage to close up this event.
Hey, thanks, Algie, man. I feel prepared to take my test tomorrow. I'm gonna get that A.
Nice. All right. So this does bring us to the end of our event. If you guys have questions, then feel free to put them in the Discord channel or on Slack. Remember to join us for the Cloud Hero event this weekend. That is what this was the prep event for. Remember to like and subscribe. We have some awesome content out on this channel for you guys. And if you guys do want to have a live Q&A session with us, then feel free to come back to the prep event tomorrow, where you can sort of pick up where you left off.
Awesome. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for